All right. Hey, everybody. My name's Elijah. We're going through problem set 3 today. I'm on PC, so if you're on Mac, you'll have to look a little bit more carefully. I'll try to point out where the differences are. I'm mostly PC familiar. Once again, as usual, if you delete the file or you mess something up, it's all good. Just hit the download link where you got it, restart the process. So, problem 1 is going to be a little bit less guided, and there's a bigger problem. So, today we're going to try to learn how to scale a planted section so the units are correct, and coordinate them with one another, and go through some different things about lines, scale, and properties. So up first, we're going to do the command units. We're going to enter the command line up here. Say, I'm sorry, we're going to do the command document properties, which is going to get us to this drop down up here. You can see me, Eli Wei, and you go to units, and you can see that our model units here are feet. It's really important that we stay in the correct model units that we want. So you might want to work in something else, meters or kilometers or miles. You can see you've got plenty of options here, light years, parsecs, whatever you want. But you don't need to worry about that for this model. We're going to work in feet. 90% of the time, you're going to work in feet. Um, and I think he goes into it right here. Yeah, so Rhino is designed to be worked at on a real scale. That means that when you are tracing your project, you are going to work at 1 to 1. So if a doorway you see from the scale on your drawing is 8 feet wide, you are going to draw an 8-foot line in Rhino. So you know how to draw a line already, but you might not know how to measure it. So we have a little example that he put here. So we're going to do the command distance that he suggests doing here. So say distance. I'm going to click the end of this line and this line, and we're going to see that it's 8 feet. So he's marked here that this is 8 feet. But this just lets you know how big, um, what size, for example, that this text we're looking at right now is 8 feet tall. So that's going to become more clear in just a second. But distance and length are two great commands for learning how long things are. When wishing to modify the size of an object in Rhino, two good commands are scale and scale 1D. So I'm going to try to do a quick demo down here with two cubes and then let you guys actually do the 3D problem set. All right, so Alt, dragging to get two of the same object. So if I do the command scale on this, I select the object and I type in the top bar here, select scale. I'm actually going to select the midpoint and this end, and then decrease the size just by dragging. I'm just dragging it down. You can see that it's just making the thing, the square smaller by in all directions, right? So that's pretty great if we just need it to be smaller. But there's another option, which is scale 1D, which is we select this object, and instead of doing the command scale here, instead we do scale 1D. And so if we repeat the same process, we click in the middle, we click on the end, when we scale 1D, it just changes the X definition for this object. And so by doing approximately the same thing, we can just shorten it. That can be great for editing lines that you've already drawn, for example. Um, but if you needed to, in an absolute sense, make everything smaller, you would use the command scale, which I'll do again just to show you, makes everything really small. And if we did scale 1D here, what we would actually get is everything weirdly stretched out. And so these are important tools for being comfortable working with Rhino. Great. Okay, so he's got a problem here. Hop into 3D view and change the people. Um, Same process as we just did, but do that. So we're going to hop up and talk about lines and hatches. So you know about drawing lines. You don't yet know about closed lines. And so this line, as you can see, has a big hole in it, is an open curve. Um, this is an open curve, but so is, if we move this even closer, so we can't tell how far away it is, this is still an open curve. And so there's a command called close curve that you can use. So if I here type the command close curve, press enter. One close curve by adding line segment. Perfect. We've got a little piece in here. Alternatively, you can actually just draw a line in here that connects the two. But if you do that, you will need to select both or all of the lines that you've done that with and do the command join. And so we see that it says two curves joined into one closed curve. Perfect. And so you're wondering, Eli, why are we doing all of this? Why are we talking about this tiny little hole that I have? Because the main thing we're going to be doing here is hatching enclosed curves. And so here we have an example of a fully closed curve that was either closed using closed curve or closed because it was drawn closed. And so when we have this selected like this and we do the command hatch, press enter, it's going to fill our inside of our object here with a hatch. The hatch is not a line, it's not a surface, it's just a visual fill. And they're really handy, and you're going to use them to draw your sections for this project. Okay, and yeah, if that some of that stuff's interesting, you start curious about the possibilities of drawing, I recommend the command curve boolean. It's worth messing around with, but for the time being, just tracing, doing what you learned in the line tutorial, and moving it forward will get you really far. Great. So now we're going to embark on our final task. So we've got embedded files in here, which is great, but I'm going to show you how to put your own file in. For some reason, that's not working, and so I'm going to do the command picture, perfect, press enter, and it's going to open up my file system. So I've got my file where I want it already, but you see I've got this downloaded JPEG file here. Click it. It's going to ask me the first corner of the picture, perfect, and then the second corner of the picture. So I can make it tiny or big, does not really matter. But so I'm just going to put it in like that. And so if you need to work on the precedent project that you're doing, you can import your own files at this point or in another file. This is just an example for us to work through. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these ones that I put in here. And so what we've done here is we've noted the scale here is given in meters, which is great. So we're going to scale them using the scale command, not scale 1D. We're not going to stretch it. And so we're going to figure out how to bring our image that we've imported up to full scale so that 1 inch on the model, 1 foot on the model, 1 mile on the model represents one unit in the drawing as well as in the model space. So that's going to make it really easy to do drawings going forward. So you see we've got a line trailed over the reference here. And so this is 300 meters. So if I select this line we've got drawn here, select this line that we've got drawn here, and select this and do the command, here we go, type the command scale. So I'm going to say scale, not scale 1D. I'm going to select this end. I'm going to select the final end, and I'm going to type in 300 meters. And so what it's done is it's made my image the actual size. So if I go in here, sorry, I'm just going to come over here. If I go in here and zoom in and do the command distance, it's going to be approximate because this is, of course, a vectored image. Click here and I click here, holding shift to make my line go straight. I'm going to see that that's 986.5 feet, which is approximately 300 meters. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this because we've already got one here. And so we now are going to coordinate the plan drawing and the section drawing into one drawing. So we've got a rough drawing of the pyramid on here in plan. And so this is, your plan drawing will be much more detailed and much more complex. But the important thing to note in your process is that this is being drawn at 1:1. So when you draw the length of the pyramid and you go in here and do the command distance, this 758.75 feet is the real length of the pyramid. And so that scaling step that we did here is really important because once that scale is correct, we can then come into 3D view. Sorry, stuck over here with these guys. Doing command zoom selected. We can come in and repeat the scaling process with the section drawing and rotate it 90 degrees so that we can start to calculate and figure out the height of the different objects. So for example, in this drawing, we have a lot of interesting details about the section, but we have to interpolate a few things in order to figure out the actual size. Let me show you how to do that. So we've got this drawing in here. Back to top view. We've got our drawing in here. We've gone ahead and see something pretty interesting here, which is this is the center line of the pyramid. You can there it says center line, and this is the edge. And so what we need to do basically is pair up the center line and the distance to the edge with the center line and the distance to the edge on here. That will let our drawing set be the same size as our section and our plan be the same size. You can see these drawings are at dramatically different scales, but this process will allow us to draw a plan and a section that are at the same scale and look the same. Good start so far. So we're going to come in here, select both our line and the object that we have, and we have the gumball turned on. If your gumball's not on, you can do the command gumball, which will turn on this little blue, red, and green thing here. So I'm going to click this red circle on the side here. Oops, sorry. Click this red circle, enter 45 degrees, because I would like to rotate it 45 degrees. Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to turn it 90 degrees. That's going to turn it upright, which is great. I'm going to select it, and I know that I want to move this piece here, this corner, to the edge of my pyramid, just like he has here. So let's just do the move command, and I'll do something a little bit different than he did, just so you can see both. He being Chad, who I'm following this tutorial from. I'm going to select the convergence of those two lines on the corner. I'm going to zoom in over here, and I'm going to select the midpoint. You see how it says mid-int there of the pyramid. So that's great. Click. And now what I've got actually is the sectional information, which here talks about the gallery on the inside of the pyramid, in relationship to the plan. So we're starting to see here how we can put it in front view, trace the section, put it in top view, trace the plan. Here's we'll have more information. And have two different drawings that are interconnected. So I hope this is helpful in getting you to where you need bringing your drawings together. I'd like to encourage you to come to ISA hours if you have any questions. They're available on the ISA assistance sheet. And I hope this helps. Great. Thank you.